More than 8 years, this has been a critical piece of evidence in the case of Crystal Rogers and her disappearance. Her car, it was abandoned on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway with her keys, phone, and purse still inside. Tonight, for the first time, we are hearing details on how it could have ended up there. It is our top story here tonight at 6. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. That car, a point of key speculation for years. And tonight, WHAS 11 Shay McAllister is here with the new answers on what you learned today from an attorney. Shay?
That's right, Doug. All of this new information coming from attorney Theodore Lavitt, who represents the newly arrested man, Steve Lawson. The attorney says his client had nothing to do with the death of Crystal Rogers, but was providing police with critical information in exchange for immunity. Immunity that came to an end with last week's indictment.
I did not hurt Crystal and was not involved in hurting Crystal. I didn't plan to hurt Crystal. I didn't conspire to hurt Crystal. Those are his statements.
Attorney Theodore Lavitt says his client, Steve Lawson, wasn't involved in the death of Crystal Rogers.
He was an employee, part-time employee of Houck. He had an association with Houck. Mr. Houck had conversations with him about Crystal, and that's the extent of my client's involvement.
Conversations like this one.
Hey, Steve.
From inside the Nelson County Sheriff's Office interrogation room just days after Crystal was first reported missing.
I just want to tell you I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother. I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you saying that.
What do you make of that phone call?
It was a set-up phone call. One was supposed to call the other, and the ring came in and they spoke.
The attorney says Steve wasn't involved in the murder, but that he does have valuable information shared with police over more than a dozen meetings throughout the last year.
They chose to indict him rather than give him the immunity that he was promised.
Oh, so he had been in discussions with them?
He has, and I have.
Regarding some sort of deal?
Immunity.
To say what he knows?
What's known as transactional immunity.
Lavitt says Steve's information dates back to the weekend Crystal disappeared, when Crystal's maroon sedan, later towed away as evidence by the FBI, was abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway with her keys, phone, and purse inside. The attorney says it was Joseph Lawson, Steve's son, who drove the car to the highway.
It was driven out there by Joey Lawson. He had a flat tire at that mile marker, and my client received a phone call, went out there and got him, brought him back.
The attorney says Steve doesn't know where the car was going or why his son was driving it, but he does have reason to believe police have built a case around solicitation. Do you think that Brooks Houck paid Joseph Lawson to help in the murder of Crystal Rogers?
I think the Commonwealth has been trying to establish that a payment was made. As to who that payment was made to and when it was made, I'm not privy to that information yet.
But the attorney thinks that information could soon be made public, pointing to next week's court date when Steve Lawson will go in front of a Nelson County judge for the first time. At Brooks Houck's arraignment, there was a lot of bombshells dropped. Do you think we'll hear something similar?
I do, and as we move on, you know, the Commonwealth's ready to move on after all these 8.5 years. I would say that we're going to hear some things in court that we haven't heard before.
And we certainly do expect the details in this case will just keep coming. So here's the court dates to keep an eye on. Steve Lawson has arraignment on December 21st. That is just next week. And then his son, Joseph Lawson, will be in court in January. Brooks Houck will be in court next on February the 8th.